It's a video.
Okay, I think everything should be working properly now. So thanks for
It is
hanging
me.
in there, guys. See, we have Paul. He's alive in the flesh.
Wait, I can turn myself off now. Let me open the big chat.
Paul is love. Paul is life.
Paul is life. Can you see my heart when I do it in this little box? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's just yeah, you fit in there.
Nice. Never thought my height would be an advantage, but it is.
You never thought your height would be an advantage?
Yeah, being small is really helping now. I fit inside of a theoretical TV. It's great.
Oh, I thought you were saying you were tall.
No.
Okay. How tall are you, if you don't mind?
I mean, no, it's okay.
This isn't secret information on your Tinder profile.
No, that Tinder profile is long gone. That was a difficult time. But I think I'm like 5'6" really, but people will say I'm like 5'2", 5'1", 4'9", and then
Gotcha.
all the way down to like Oompa Loompa level. So we'll just let it be a mystery.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad I could have you on for the first, like, I don't know what you want to call this, discussion, podcast, just hang out kind of thing.
I was going for like Immersion Bros as a name.
Immersion
or,
Bros.
Shade? No. Can't do anything about your mustache. I'll grow a mustache as well, and we'll do like Mustache Bros.
There you go.
Yeah.
Working title, but
yeah.
We'll get through it.
Very working.
So yeah, for the few people in my chat who have not heard of you, and for anybody else, could you introduce yourself and tell us who you are?
Hi, I'm Paul. I stream on Twitch every day for I think 6 months, 18 days, 19 minutes, and some amount of seconds. Yeah, I'm an English teacher. I taught in Korea for a year, and I also taught in England for about 9 months, but then coronavirus happened, so yeah, that kind of went badly. But yeah, I'm going to be going back to Korea relatively soon, depending on when the coronavirus or travel restrictions get uplifted. And I've been studying Korean for the same amount of time I've been streaming, so 6 months. The amount of days, minutes, and seconds.
6 months, the same amount of time you've been streaming, and you mean that literally, don't you?
Yeah,
like, because you study sometime off stream, but a lot of your study time is on stream.
Yeah, apart from listening time, it's all on stream. Apart from the last 2 weeks where I've been doing a lot of like reading and more reading time, which obviously I can't do on stream all the time because that would just be outrageously boring. Most of it is on stream.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then what got you? So what got you what made you actually want to start learning Korean?
Well, I lived in Korea for a year, and I realized I don't really need to know Korean when I was there because I could get by ridiculously easy by just like Konglish or smiling. And then when I came back to England, all of my little businesses that I'd set up in Korea were considerably more difficult now because I couldn't be there in person. So I couldn't say to them, like, I want this, do this for me.
You couldn't grunt and point in this direction and that direction.
Like, So that kind of just went completely far down. So I had to think, how can I converse with these people? So my first thought was Korean girlfriend, not gonna lie. Korean girlfriends did help me with business deals when I was in Korea, so I figured it would just work again. Turns out you can't have a relationship built on translating, so the next answer was learn Korean, and that's been going for 6 months, etc.
Gotcha. So would you say, because I've been thinking about this recently, about the idea of having a reason to learn Korean. I'm
Yeah.
curious. I'm curious what your thoughts are. How important do you think it is to actually have a reason to learn Korean? Because I think I hear that question a lot. Why do you study Korean? Why is it that you are trying to learn the language? And what, in your eyes, is that really important? Is that actually something that matters?
I didn't think it mattered before I started streaming and studying. I thought, if you wanted to learn French, you could just get a French book, start, learning French. But the more I've been streaming, the more I've met people who are studying Korean or whatever language. And the ones who come into the chat and they're like, oh, I'm learning Korean because I'm going to go to Korea, or I'm learning Korean because I want to be a teacher in Korea. Their passion and their survivability is much greater than those who come into my chat and say, I want to learn to marry this K-pop star. Or those who say, I really like Running Man, so let's learn Korean. It's there's a famous football thing, can they do it in the cold nights? I think having a reason to study a language carries you through the cold nights and the the horrible times of thinking, oh my god, I've studied for 1,000 hours and I'm a potato. I can't even say hello. What's happened to me? Why have I done this? So I think it has some impact. It's not the most important thing, but it's definitely got some impact. I don't know what you think, but
so it's like having a flimsy reason might not be enough. That might not be. It's kind of I don't know. See, and for me, it's kind of interesting because I feel like it's not that I have a flimsy reason for studying Korean. It's that I don't really have a reason to do it. I don't know anybody who speaks Korean. I don't have any immediate plans of going to Korea. And I didn't know anybody else who is learning Korean. I don't know, there's all kinds of reasons why it would seem strange for me to want to learn the language. But like a lot of people in my life that I've told, I'm really passionate about it. I'm super into it. I love doing it. But people ask me why, and I feel like, well, it was kind of an accident that it happened. I started, and now I can't stop. I saw Ducking No in chat say they forgot why they started learning Korean. The only reason I'm still learning is to not break my Anki streak.
Yeah, I saw that. It's funny.
And it's, besides being funny, that's actually kind of part of it. And I think, in a way, reasons can be a double-edged sword. It can give you expectations, and some of those might be kind of unrealistic, or some of them might be really realistic. Right, you're going to Korea, and you've been there. You know what that's like, and you are basically you can see absolutely in the physical world exactly how you would use that. And so that expectation for you is a motivating factor, and that's positive. But if I were expecting to be able to marry Sana from Twice because I learned Korean, it's that expectation is going to get harder and harder for me to believe that she's going to want some broken English, Korean or broken Korean speaking American dude. Because it's just gonna get harder and harder to keep that illusion going, I guess. The fantasy, the sort of fantasy, not concrete, but at the same time, not having a strong reason kind of takes the pressure off in a way. I just focus on the process. I like learning Korean. That's kind of why I'm doing it. It's I like how it feels to learn the language, and I've become more passionate and fallen in love with the culture and the media.
Yeah, at some point you just get consumed by whatever language you're learning. Everything to do with that language is just like interesting, fascinating, and it becomes the objective. Just the fun of it is everything. It's like improving yourself type of thing.
Yeah.
So you choose language. Hopefully some people find that with other languages, but I do worry that if they don't have a clear purpose, it's a bit harder for them to find that like love of learning a language.
Yeah, I definitely, I think that could be the case for some people. I feel like if you're in the right spot, you know, something like learning Korean might just be like the right fit for you. But yeah, definitely it's kind of interesting. I don't know how everybody in the community feels about it. I know there's people who just learn it casually and they just want to learn another language, and that's cool and stuff. I do actually want to learn to a high degree, but that's kind of why I picked the MIA path to start learning, basically.
Yeah, people who choose the MIA path are very oddballs in a way because it's a very small community. So the ones who are like ingrained in that type of community are really into it. Like they're listening 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day. I mean, you did a 70-hour challenge quite recently. That's how, you know, committed.
And to be totally clear, the 70-hour challenge is not like a normal thing for me. For anybody who saw my video and was like curious if this is like what I'm doing every week, absolutely not. I still listen to a lot of Korean. Yeah, I think so the thing is, if I wouldn't have started making some YouTube videos and doing my Twitch stream and actually being engaged with the community, I think I would be kind of on a 70-hour, 80-hour path. That's just, it would have been really easy for me because of how simple my life is right now. But I actually wanted to like engage with the community and not have it consume my life as much as some people wanted to consume their life.
I could probably have studied more if I wasn't streaming, but you know, you're meeting people, you're having experiences that kind of keep you going, and you want to try a little bit harder.
Yeah,
but it's a good thing to be engaged in the community. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be here.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be on this little TV screen right now. Otherwise, I mean, that's the reality, guys. You wouldn't be getting the Emerging Bros content working title.
I was actually that reminded me of something I wanted to talk about. I was curious what your thoughts are on how much this has impacted your Korean learning. Like your specific approach to learning Korean on stream. You're basically learning Korean in public and with people around, you know, and you can choose how much you want to take your attention away from your studies, away from your Anki or your reading or whatever, and move it towards chat and to the people there and stuff. So you have that choice, and it's a little bit easier maybe than in a distracting environment and stuff, you know, because you get to curate it. But you engage with everybody in your chat. You are there to chat with everybody and hang out, and you know, you're always showing love to everybody who shows up and engages and has discussions there. So I'm curious, like, do you think about how much, like, how that has affected your actual learning?
Not now. I used to, like 3 months in, which I think, cause by that point I was streaming 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours, occasionally each day. Maybe, you know, fluctuates. But when I was adding all that time up, I was thinking, you know, I probably could have finished this book. You know, I probably could have read this grammar form thing. I probably could have listened to this much content, but it's kind of like a ripple effect. If I'm streaming and if I'm engaging with somebody in chat, then I can have a benefit to them. I can add value, as David Nash would say. I can add value to their learning, which, yeah, it's a cost to me, and it is. I'm sure it's a small cost overall, but if I affect 10 people to do 30 extra minutes, then that's like what, 3 hours? Oh, wait, minutes out. It's some time.
Yeah.
I've affected some amount of people's time studying for the cost of my study. So it's, when you compare the two, it's not that detrimental, and I'm not that worried anymore. There's definitely a balance there. I wouldn't stream for like 3 hours, 4 hours a day every day. I don't think it's good for your mental health to be streaming for that long. I think
I
people
agree.
who create content for like 4 hours a day or 5 hours a day, unless you're some superhuman and just downing coffee every 5 minutes, then you're just gonna die. You're just gonna burn out and give up.
So speaking of coffee, you actually don't drink coffee, do you? You don't?
No,
You're not a
I
coffee
once
or a
was
tea
given,
guy?
No, I was given one of those little coffee pot things in Korea. It looks like chocolate milk, and I was like, yes, chocolate milk. I put the straw in. Wait, I also couldn't get the straw in, by the way. I kept smashing it, and the straw bent. And if anyone's ever had that happen to you, it happens all the time to me. I couldn't get the straw in, and then I eventually did. Took one sip, and I was like, what is this? And I just
This is bitter crap.
spat coffee everywhere in the middle of a convenience store. But yeah, I don't like coffee. I'm okay with just my own energy levels, and if I'm tired, then nap time.
Yeah. It's honestly probably for the best. I do like my coffee
though.
though.
Teaching. I saw so many teachers who are just addicted to coffee.
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't get their morning coffee, they would be shaking. The one guy actually killed some fish. He was so angry he couldn't get his coffee one day. He had like a tank of 30 fish, and he put 5 of them in a separate tank, and he was like, I'm gonna watch how long they can live without food. Just because he was so annoyed that he was deprived something. He's like, okay, well, the fish are deprived.
Wow.
So, yeah, shout out to Mike if you hear this. He's not hearing this. It's also not a nice guy,
shout out to Mike.
It's okay, but
he was in a in a dark spot, it sounds like.
Yeah, if coffee makes you so addicted that you want to kill 5 fish, then I'm stick to chocolate milk.
But but let's be real. I mean, it sounds like Mike's problems extended beyond his coffee addiction.
Oh, we could have a separate podcast about Mike's problems. I mean, Mike, I don't want to get too into Mike. He's not here to defend himself, but Mike's got issues. Mike has definitely got issues. Issues, no, it's okay, Nova. We had 8 and then we got to 100, so it's still net positive, I think.
So I was curious. You mentioned about the impact that you have on your audience who comes to your channel, and why do you think, for your channel specifically, why do you think that people still hang out? Why are they still there? Is that it's just what is it about your channel that keeps people coming back, other than obviously to hang out with Paul
and my handsome face? Yeah, of course. But I think it's a weird blend. When I first started streaming, I didn't tell any of my friends or my own brother that I was streaming, because I believe in systemic, or whatever the correct wording is, like viewer growth. So I wouldn't really tell anyone until I got to a point where I already had viewers, and fortunately that came pretty quickly. But so the people who are random, or not random anymore, but who were random, they then get to mix with people in my own life who do know me. And then they get interactions with each other, and they can ask questions, they can meme, they can make jokes, they can flirt, they can do lots of all that stuff. And it makes a kind of balance of reality and them probably feeling closer to me, which I hope is a good thing. I hope none of them are murderers. I've met, I think, 5 I've met 5 of my viewers now, like random viewers I didn't know before streaming. and those guys seem not murderers, so
Yeah, I hope there's no
hopefully,
murderers in your chat. I mean, we can't be
yeah,
sure. I mean, I've been keeping an eye on Tabby, and I'm not sure. You know,
yeah, it's a knife.
she's got the knife way too often.
Yeah, I think it's important to be realistic about streaming and viewership, and I know you don't do that. Look at the number. I don't think you do that, right?
Yeah, I keep that hidden. I just don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want it to affect my thoughts, because I know you can't. You know, it's like you can only deal with the information that you have. You know, and as long as it's a mystery to me, I'm fine.
yeah, it's like I would still be streaming if the only one who watched me was a nightbot and a guy with a dog.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter that the viewership number says 2, because I'd still be here, and look, fortunately, I'm very grateful that it's higher than 2. But I think the people who are here now, they feel less of a number, less of me thinking I've got 25 viewers. They feel more of like full streaming, full studying today type vibe.
Yeah, and I definitely think I think people get that impression from your stream that it's not about the number. It's not about they're not just another addition to your follower count on Twitch.
Yeah.
Because when people come to your stream, it's like people engage with other people and make friends with other viewers, and it's just, there is something kind of cool about it feels like a lot of your viewers are either learning Korean or they already know Korean. You have some Korean viewers.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's like we're all kind of in the same boat. We're all kind of on the same team. Like, we're all working towards the same goal, to be able to, and I think there's that connection there that makes it really easy to get along with people from all kinds of different walks of life. I mean, you have people from all over the world in your chat, basically.
Yeah.
And
very grateful.
Yeah, and it's just something that's like, I don't know. In one sense, it's kind of weird, though, isn't it? Like that you're just doing Anki reps, and you're doing memorized quizzes, and people are just hanging out.
I say all the time, Claudia, all the time. If you're here, like I don't know, you were there like 2 months ago, all the time. Why are you here? This isn't the content you're looking for. Like, I'm never gonna be the guy who's going to do something crazy. I'm never gonna pour water on my head stream. We're gonna do a cosplay stream. Well, Halloween maybe, but like I'm never gonna be providing anything other than what you can do if you just set up a mirror and watch yourself study. If you just do that simple thing, you are doing the same thing as me, and that's important. Like if tomorrow nobody was at my stream, and they were still studying mine, that's fine. Like recently I've been studying every day with Phoebe, from my chat.
Yeah.
And we study together for about 3 to 4 hours every day. This last week, and he said to me in one of the sessions, like, "Oh, Paul, I won't be in your stream today." I'm like, "That's fine. I've just seen you study for 4 hours."
Yeah.
I know you've done your studying today. Why would you want to watch me study for 2 more hours? It would be insane if you did want to. Like, I think I'm a nice guy and a decent guy, but I'm not that good. Like,
well,
I think you gotta be realistic about like what people want.
Yeah, you definitely have to be realistic about. You have to be realistic about what you're willing to do as a streamer. But
yeah.
Then, so I think part of the, if we're gonna call it content, part of your content is your, is your perseverance and your, the fact that you're there every day is part of, that's like part of the process. That's part of what I think is appealing to a lot of people. When they come in and then they hang out, they see that you're a good guy and that you have a good chat, good community of people, good friends there. But it's like the fact that you're there every day is kind of motivating for people, I think. And it's being able to see that you're there putting in the hours every day. It's like, well, you know, Paul's out here studying for all of us to see every single day. And I think that's and because you're not arrogant, I think it's easy to be just motivated by that, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the most important things to just be consistent in anything you do. So if I was going to be like trying to get huge and do like exercise at the gym, I'll be your friend, right? He streams weightlifting, I think, right?
Yeah.
I'd be doing that. I'd be streaming me every day at the gym.
Yeah.
Whatever I will be doing, I'll be doing it every day. Because otherwise, it's kind of doing like a disservice to yourself.
Yeah.
And imagine if I only streamed 3 times for, I don't know, half the days. It's like 3 months of study time just gone.
Yeah.
That's insane. It's just like, why shouldn't I be here every day? It's not like I'm gonna, you know, go out and go on some terrible Tinder dates.
Especially right now. I mean,
yeah,
that's been a kind of an interesting thing. I think the language community has grown. Excuse me. I think the language community has grown quite a bit in the last 6 months, just because of circumstantial events. It's kind of crazy. Just how it feels like, and this mirrors my own experience, like with the growing MIA Korean community. It grew insanely quickly. As soon as people started putting together a place for people to hang out, it just exploded. So I think there's a lot of people who want to learn and want to expand their knowledge and want to connect with people. I think that's why language is like a good choice for right now. It's a good fit because it's sort of it expresses this sort of yearning for connection that people are kind of missing out on. That was made worse by recent events.
I think right now, especially with the MIA community for Korean life starting to pop up, I think this is the time. I've told you this privately, but I think it's time for you now. Until now, you'd be like, you know, top dog in the MIA Korean community if you made the content, because there's so many more searches now than there was last year. I don't even know the number, but it's probably tenfold.
Yeah.
What it was last year. So if you're making any content that in YouTube title or MIA Korean, you're gonna get so many more views than you were previously.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll be able to help. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, and there's absolutely room for more of that, and it's only going to grow bigger. For anybody in, you know, the chat or anybody listening who is curious about that, I know Retro is in here, and Retro is making a lot of right now. He's writing a lot of articles on a blog, and a lot of it has to do with like really in-depth questions. Retro's been learning Korean for 2 years, so he's basically got a lot of stuff figured out at this point. And I
follow him on Twitter, but he doesn't follow me back. I don't know if this is the right
Retro,
time.
what's the deal?
Just in case you can hear me, this could be the time to press that button. just saying. Jasper? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's. I think there is definitely there's definitely a lot of room for that.
I don't even know my own name, but I think it's the right time for anyone who's thinking of making content. Just make any content now about learning Korean and helping people, because it will actually find an audience. I mean, if I was trying to stream studying a language last year, I probably would have considerably less viewership than I did this year because of the circumstances. So.
Absolutely, yeah. It's right. It's kind of at a boom time. I think, you know, language learning has been.
He just followed me. Sorry.
What's that?
Sorry. He did just follow me. My bad. Just.
Oh, nice. Glad we can make that happen. Yeah, I think right now is good. There's a few people in the chat. So like Nerva is in the chat, and she is doing some really cool content with finding Korean indie artists. And for anybody who is into that, you should definitely follow Nerva. And Tabby the Twerp is in there. She is learning Korean and doing all kinds of extracurricular, Korean learning stuff. Like most people in chat, which I mean, you guys all.
Fry makes a lot of times on.
Yeah, Fry.
Korean studying time.
Yeah, Fry is studying Korean on Twitch. There's a lot of good people to follow if that's what you're into. And yeah, so I think that sort of idea of growing this live community of people studying Korean live and stuff, it's so much easier to connect than something like the StudyGram sort of Instagram things where it's just like one-sided. You get to see a curated post that somebody can communicate anything they want in that, and it's important for like communication and sometimes that's all you want to see from somebody is just like a quick Instagram post, but all of the go ahead.
Sorry, I think it's important to say like there are some bad things with streaming study and stuff, especially with like really consistent, like making content and the balance of it, and not going insane and not feeling pressured to make a video or make a stream or continuing what you're doing. That is something to think about if somebody is thinking about making content. Do consider your mental health, because I know personally streaming every day has been reasonably fine for me, but there has been days where I'm not feeling great, and then you see a chat which is mostly nice, but then you get some random bad person. It's just it does have an effect over a long period of time.
Yeah, and
don't be down though.
And aside from that, if you're feeling really low energy on some day and you want to put out content and stuff, and you're not going to be on your game, and that's going to happen, and it it can make you feel kind of insecure about like if you're forgetting words a lot or something, if you're studying or doing something else related. If you just don't feel like you have the energy that you've come to expect from yourself, like the type of energy that you actually want to spread and share with people, those days are going to happen, and that can be I think it's definitely important to be aware of that for sure. Just those fluctuations in your energy. We've touched a little bit about MIA over the conversation, and something you mentioned briefly right before we started streaming was that you had sort of a perception of MIA, and you kind of had some notions based on things that you've heard about the community or things that you've come across about the community. So I was curious a little bit about that, because you said that in your words, you said that the MIA community has a reputation of being toxic. So I'm a little curious about your thoughts on that.
I think it's just an issue of I think it's the kind of systemic issue with the MIA study method. The guys that do insane amount of hours for insane amount of time, they in that time they're not interacting with people, right? In most cases, we're not going to mention the one guy, but the one guy has studied I think every day for like 2 years or some ridiculous amount of time. And whenever he makes videos, they're always like 3-hour long rants, 2-hour long rants, and whatever Twitter post he makes, they're always massive rant about how the education system is terrible. I'm a teacher, so I know it's terrible, but I don't want to read it every day. Like if I'm learning a language, I don't want to read, so read this book. They should just do immersion every day, which maybe there's valid reasoning for doing that much immersion every day, or listening to content, or reading whatever you're doing. But if the MA community or the mass immersion approach community, if you answer your question from basically, it kind of pushes it down your throat in some cases. It's got a lot better, but not to the point where I would personally attach myself to that type of brand.
Yeah.
Other things as well, but there's a message from Retro.
Yeah, Retro is saying the worst part is that people tend to talk bad about things because they think they are superior because they have the superior method. And yeah, there is a lot of that. I think that's absolutely something that happens, and it probably happens to a higher degree in something like the MIA community or people who have studied with AJAT, inspired methods. Rolf says, "I've heard that insert internet community is also toxic." Well, you should know, being involved with the Smash community, the types of stuff that's been going on there. We won't get into it. That's not what this stream is about. Not saying that Rolf is in any way connected. I'm just saying he plays Smash, and there's been some wild stuff I've been hearing about.
It's also with the actual subject of like learning a language as well. It's super difficult to prove stuff.
Yeah.
So I saw a comment recently on this one MIA review. He done like 1.5 years studying Japanese, I think. And like the first comment was, "Do an introduction in Japanese right now."
Yeah.
And the second comment was, "No, he can't do it because he's doing MIA. He can't speak."
Yeah.
And there's another one's like, "I can't speak after 2 years," and it's a massive just chain rant of, "Well, he can't do it. He's terrible." And then it just kind of changes to just name calling.
Yeah. So I
think that I like.
I personally think that there's a lot to do with ego in all of this, and it really comes down to insecurity, I believe, because I mean, let's be real, the kind of person who has all day to spend in immersion, generally speaking, that person has a much higher chance of not having an engaged, social life and stuff. And
yes, yeah.
It's not to say anything.
But you've said it nicer.
Yeah, it's not to say anything bad about those people, but just that's the type of person that is likely to find the MIA stuff attractive, and when then their identity and sense of self-worth is built up based on this like very intensive, it's considered to be like the hardcore method of learning, that people build up an identity around that, and instead of fixing their insecurity, they're still insecure, but now they're cocky because they've been spending thousands of hours listening to Japanese or Korean or something. And
but Cloudy, I've done 6,000 hours. My opinion has more weight than yours.
Yeah, and
could you dare talk to me, peasant boy?
Yeah, it's there's definitely some people, and I know that's not the case. Some people are just also more blunt about things. But there's a lot of people who are constantly comparing themselves to others, and that's part of it's all part of that same thing. There are people who are confident about their language learning, and those people are generally not trying to prove to everybody. They don't feel like they have to prove. Like, I've had people come at me saying, prove you can speak Korean. I'm like, I don't have anything to prove to you. I don't care. Like, I'm learning Korean because it's fun to learn Korean. And I'm not good, and I probably can't speak because I do MIA. No, it's like, it's one of those things. It's I think it has drawn a lot of well, we were talking a little bit also about how Matt himself used to be used to have a reputation of being a little bit more like edgy and abrasive.
He was very edgy.
Yeah.
Those 4-hour videos were full of some very edgy moments.
Yeah, the 3-hour video I had where he was like kind of depressed and kind of almost giving up on Japanese and like jaded and stuff. Yeah, I feel like part of that is, somebody like him who has grown up, essentially grown up while learning Japanese and grown up while creating content. So there's obviously going to be some like, differences and evolving and stuff. but it is kind of interesting how that works out. Retro says,
Yeah, I wish it was different, but I don't think it's going to change.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Retro says, language kind of reminds me of coaching in football. The coach might not be good at the game, but they understand how to play. Yeah, there's definitely some of that too.
Yeah.
But
I just don't think it's healthy to compare yourself to others.
yeah,
I think I'm incredibly lucky. When I was doing my teaching certificates, we had to get observed by lots of other teachers who are either 10 years in the game, 5 years, just starting. So I would have a lesson where I would just get obliterated. This 20-year-old teacher. I'm like, how dare you judge me? They're like 1 year younger than me, and then I come out of the lesson. I'm like, she was right. I think those moments really helped me personally. I think some people just haven't had those moments of just being completely shat on. Can I swear, by the way? I don't know if I'm.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, completely shit on some person, and then you just feel terrible inside. And I don't want to ever feel terrible inside. I don't want to make you feel terrible inside. So I'm not going to be prove to me you can speak Korean. Show me this. Because if you can, then I'm going to feel like shit. And if you can't, you're going to feel like shit. The only one who wins here is no one.
Yeah.
It's just I think I'm super lucky. I don't know about you personally, but I think you're pretty good at handling comments and stuff. So
yeah,
I'll do it though.
Yeah, we're not in your stream, so you can swear without. You can swear freely.
Screw you guys.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm definitely not. I'm not always confident in my language learning. There are definitely moments that come up where I feel like, I'm a little unsure of how things are going.
Yep.
But also, I'm the kind of person I'm probably a little bit older than a lot of the younger language learning community, and so I've been through other situations where I've had to confront being insecure about this and that, and
yep.
I've kind of learned through experience that it's not worth it, and that you just if you're basing your learning on expectations or where you think you should be at any one point in time, then it's just gonna suck. It's gonna make it harder to learn, because if part of your thoughts and your brain and attention is focused on this fear and this insecurity and this what ifs and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas and all of this, all of that mental energy is not being spent on paying attention to the learning and the words and the language and stuff. So it actually just gets in your way. It makes it harder. You're working against yourself. Claudia has a tank of fish and starves one to death for every bad comment. No.
Yeah, Jonas, it's really difficult to get past that stage of zero confidence and issues with not anxiety, but if I do this, maybe it goes wrong. This happens. It is really difficult to pass that, but there's no real fix. I don't think there is, apart from just actually and then failing, unfortunately. Yeah. Hopefully, Jonas, you get more confidence over time just by doing it.
Yeah, I am definitely a firm believer in that consistency builds confidence, and it's one of those things. If you are showing up every day and trying something, that consistency, even if it's small, is going to help build confidence in whatever it is that you're doing. Say if it's going to the gym and you've never been to the gym before or something, and you want to work out.
I've never been there.
Yeah, you don't know what that's like. So
nah.
So if you wanted to learn, you would just have to go and try it every day, and you would build that confidence. And there's something about reality that kind of if you challenge those things that you're unconfident in enough times, you're going to build this expectation that, like, oh, all it takes is just a little bit of consistency with whatever it is, and you're going to get past that. And, reality will wash away any weird fantasies and ideas you have about the future, about how things should be if you're building something up in your head. Or it's just doing it, and then just making sure that you are listening to yourself and just learning and trying to enjoy what you do. It all helps.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit nervous chat with how bad day and stuff. I've had so many bad dates, but that's helped me not be nervous about future dates. Like, I don't go into a date now thinking, sometimes, but not every time. So it's failing and having those bad dates in this scenario helps you for the future. So
yeah,
that's
absolutely
kind of my opinion.
So
there's some messages though.
There's some messages.
I can see chat. I don't know if you want me to read it for you.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't know what the vibe was for Immersion Bros podcast part 1.
Yeah, no, it's I'm happy to read some messages and stuff. I saw that Duck said, also helps if you just admit you're going to make mistakes and just roll with it. Important part is to learn from those mistakes. Being ashamed by it does not help at all. I agree with that 100%. And then Jonas Baby Dane says, maybe for simple things, but with complex things, where the more you learn, the deeper it becomes, it can be really hard. Been designing for 10 years, but still question if everything I do is wrong, Yeah, I mean, the more you learn with something, the more you learn that what you don't know, right? That's the whole paradoxical relationship that you have with something. When you first start something, you don't know anything. You learn a little bit, you think you know it all. You learn more, you realize you don't know anything. And then, I forgot the Baader-Meinhof curve.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Or no, that's a different phenomenon.
Right.
Baader
Dunning-Kruger.
Dunning-Kruger, yeah, some other. The Dunning-Kruger effect, exactly. So it's a constant cycle. It really is of reevaluating your confidence with something, and it just helps to know that feeling unconfident about something is part of the process, and it takes the focus off of it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still doing the honest thing. Quickly, I don't want to too much because there are lots of other comments, but I've been teaching for like about 3. I've been tutoring for like 5 years. Still doubt myself when I'm teaching and make a mistake. I like something I said, and the kid will say, "Oh, maybe it's this," and I'm like, "Oh crap, maybe it is that." Like, it's just it's a feeling that really goes away, but I think over time, the feeling just fades quicker until it becomes no, and then it just kind of doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Apart from when you focus, which is unfortunate.
Tabby said, in acting workshops, we always start with games that make everyone look stupid. So when you try something that might not work and you might look stupid, everyone has already been stupid together. You just got to accept that you might look stupid and embrace the stupid. Yeah, it's a beautiful way of putting it.
I am very stupid.
Yeah, embrace the stupid. It's like if you embarrass yourself, you realize that you can recover from embarrassment. You can. It's not the end of the world. For sure. And then Nerva also says, the hardest part, I would say, is finding people who are kind enough to correct you. These people need to be cherished very dearly. Yeah, it's always nice. I think especially if you are working on your confidence with something, being able to handle correction and input and feedback is part of that process. If you can open yourself up to that, that'll help you become more confident in your language learning as well.
Yep.
So I was.
Cool though, guys. Like.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, it's like it's typical. Like, even though I'm saying this, I still struggle as well. Like everyone does. It's like it's normal to struggle. So don't worry. Yeah, it's just the way it is, unfortunately. But it'll go away.
Yeah.
Bye, Fry. Fighting.
See you later, Fry. Thanks for coming by and listening and chatting. I was going to ask. So we've talked a little bit about how you came to learn Korean, and we've talked a little bit about our experiences learning Korean stuff. I was curious about the future of Korean Study Time, of twitch.tv/KoreanStudyTime, and you talked a little bit about this on your stream before about possibly your content changing or adding different content when you go to Korean. So do you have any plans for doing something different when you go to Korea?
I would say, yeah, it's definitely different because I will still be like study streaming as well, but I haven't decided if it's 2 or 3 times a week. Probably leading towards 2 times. I would be streaming walking around, especially not more in like the touristy type places. I think there's a lot of streamers who are just better than me at it, and I don't really want to be doing that type of content because I don't think I'd be interesting. But I think in places that you wouldn't normally see a streamer do is something that I'm interested in, especially in Korea. Where I know Seoul, like Seoul is amazing, but there's a lot of little towns near Seoul, or little places that you don't really see on TripAdvisor. So,
yeah.
That'll be more of the content, maybe 3 times a week, depending on how tired I am. But yeah, the future plan. Every day.
Well, I for one am excited for that. I definitely I think IRL streams are pretty fun. Duck says to not stream in jail, so maybe take that advice. It's up to you. I
did get stopped by the police in Korea.
Really?
Anytime. Yeah, I got caught jaywalking at 5:30 in the morning.
Well, what were you jaywalking for?
One street. Gym was opposite my house, and normally it's like 5:30, right? There's like a car. It wasn't even an old lady. There's just nothing. I'm like, fine, I'll just walk. I walked across the road, and then see the. I don't know if I was just singled out, and they've been stalking me for the past week. He goes at 5:30. He goes at 5:30. But yeah, they stopped me, asked me for my ID card, called my boss, everything.
Wow.
So yeah, guys, don't jaywalk at 5:30.
Yeah.
But definitely not at 5:30, because that's when they're out to get you.
I jaywalk every day here in America.
I don't mean this to sound rude, but you're gonna get fucked.
But also, if I if I was in Korea, I probably wouldn't, for sure.
That's no mistake.
I've heard that they're also strict about that in lots of parts of Japan as well.
I haven't been to Japan, but I would still be arrested at 5:30 as well. So yeah, it's.
Duck says,
never stopped me and cover me.
I've been walking home at 5:30 a.m. across the bridge in Seoul in winter, and they never stop by and offer me a free ride. Wow.
Maybe it's because I was a dirty way cookie. To get this guy. He's going to the gym at 5:30. What's he doing? Stop him. Stop this man. My experiences with Korean police was pretty nice most of the time.
That's good.
2 instances.
Well, I mean, it helps not being a criminal, other than a jaywalker.
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, you don't know everything I do, Claudia. I could be.
It's true. We're assuming a lot.
I could be a bad man.
Well, Paul,
that's what the hopes.
I think we've covered a lot of good topics today, and I think that was a really good conversation. I'm really glad that you stopped by. So I was wondering if anybody had any questions in chat they wanted to ask or talk about, or any closing thoughts or something. I know
I'm a complete open book, so
I know you're going to be
Wow.
you're going to be streaming later, right? Probably not too far from now. Not too long.
Yeah, like 45 minutes. Like that, but
Gotcha. Teddy wants to know your shoe size.
asking me shoe size. I'm a size 7, but in football boots, I'm like 7.5 because but that's only in one size. The one like type of football boots. I'm really not too sure, but yeah.
And then Retro is asking, how long have you been learning now? Did we lose you? You froze up a little bit. How long? I asked him how long he'd been learning, and he got this blank stare across the room, like the 1,000-yard stare. Okay. Wait, are you back?
No.
I think I can hear you now. Uh-oh. Well,
Good day. It was nice knowing me.
well, Paul, it sounds like we've kind of mostly lost you. Oh, there he goes. So he's coming back. Best internet in the West. He got scared of the questions. Yeah, we started grilling him, and he just froze. You know, figuratively and literally.
Oh, am I back? I think I'm back.
You are back.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, you're good. I can hear you.
I don't know if you heard my answer then. Did you not?
I don't think we did. I think we cut out.
Oh, size 7 in normal shoes and 7.5 in like football shoes.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we heard that. But how long have you been studying Korean?
6 months and 17 days.
6 months and 17 days.
Yep. Sorry.
When you stream it every day, you get to know the number exactly.
Oh, you definitely do. You count every single day. I've got a MIA spreadsheet just like all the other guys. I don't keep as close track of it anymore because in my recent update video on YouTube, I actually gave the wrong. I started planning out this whole thing. Oh, this is my 5-month update. In the video, I called it my 5-month update, and then after I posted it, I realized, or after I was finished shooting it, I realized, oh, this is actually my 4th month update. Yeah. I think I saw you do the correction on your video actually.
Yeah.
The edit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I see anything else? Cut off his feet. Okay, that's not a question, but thank you.
Yeah. We also.
What did you get for your birthday? Golf clubs and 3 cards. Bigfoot isn't a question, but thank you. Are you still suck? I still suck.
Oh yeah. So okay. I forgot to mention I'll have to apologize for that, but it is your birthday today. How old are you today?
It is. I'm 24 today.
24 years old. Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
So I thought I would sing you happy birthday a little bit here in Korean.
Oh my god, I might just. I mean, my camera might turn off for different reasons. Put it that way.
Okay, everybody, are you ready?
For me.
We're gonna sing happy birthday to Paul in Korean or in English
cry.
or whatever. 생일 축하합니다. 생일 축하합니다. 사랑하는 우리 Paul. 생일 축하합니다.
Oh my god, that's. My soul is moved. That's the emotion going through me right now. Electric. But really good. Thank you guys.
Sweet.
It is really nice.
Awesome.
Oh, is Korea worth moving to and living for a daily wage? I guess. Definitely ducking. Definitely. Unless you cross the road at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, don't do that. Play by the rules if you're gonna go to Korea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun, dude. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, finally we get Cloudy Howdy speaking Korean. Oops. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Early
I'm gonna make
output.
a thread about that. I'm gonna complain
Trauma.
about you. I'm gonna tell you that your method sucks.
Yeah, I can't. I don't have any experience hearing or singing "Happy Birthday" in Korean. I've just heard it so many times because I immerse a lot.
Yep.
There's a lot of Korean dramas that feature birthdays. It's like your drama has to have somebody's birthday, somebody getting drunk, a love triangle, and a couple of other things. But yeah,
It's like my chat.
it's like your
Love
chat.
triangle, I mean, you just summed up Korean study time right there.
Right. Cool. Yeah, it's basically a drama. So if anybody likes K-dramas, they're gonna love your channel.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Paul, thank you so much for coming on. I think this was a lot of fun. It was good to have you on the first discussion episode.
Hopefully many more. Please do invite.
Yeah. So everyone, I had talked to we should be still on, but next week I'm gonna have Retro on the show, and Retro has been learning Korean for about 2 years, and very intensely, and very diligently, and he's heavily involved with the MIA community. So
He also follows me on Twitter.
now he even follows Paul on Twitter. So
got him.
So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to that, and that should be a lot of fun as well. So that'll be next Sunday, same time, same channel, and yeah, I'm going to let you go, Paul, and I'll probably be done streaming here in a few minutes, but it was good to have you, and I'll probably see you in your chat later.
Thanks, man. Bye, guys. Bye. 하나, 둘, 셋.